The Tipping Point with Mike Tipton is brought to you by Dubby. What is Dubby? Dubby is a clean energy drink that is made to give you focus with no crash, jitters, or angst like those other energy drinks have. They also have no maltodextrin fillers and don't use artificial dyes. Dubby contains vitamins, amino acids, a nootropic, and 150 milligrams of caffeine. W's products are made in the USA in an FDA inspected facility that strictly adheres to GMP manufacturing guidelines. All of the flavors are unique and custom made by W, and you'll never taste our taste anywhere else. The best part about it is they're affordable. W's drinks come out to about $1 per drink, much cheaper than Starbucks or any of those canned energy drinks. To learn more, visit w.gg.com/discount/MRTipton33 and place your order today. Use promo code MrTipton33 and save today. W Energy, be better. What's going on, everybody? I want to tell you about my new friends over at Cleverman. Visit them online at becleverman.com. What they gave me was the energizing face and beard scrub along with the Cleverman face scrubber. And trust me when I say this, the energizing face and beard scrub smells amazing. Combining it with the face scrubber, making sure that your boy was looking as good and sexy as possible, opened up a whole different sensation in my face that I haven't ever felt before. I felt so clean, so fresh, and so clean, like Outcast said, and it helped me feel like I was ready for my day. Make sure you visit them online at becleverman.com and follow them on Instagram at clevermannyc. The link is up in my bio if you want to check out all the amazing products they have. Visit them online, becleverman.com. Good morning. It is time for the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton. We are hanging out with you here on a Tuesday morning. We are live on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Instagram, and on Roku via National Streaming Sports. Shout outs to our friends over at National Streaming Sports. You can check out all the different shows they have to offer, 24-hour content all day long with National Streaming Sports. Shout out to Henry Flores TX who tuned in, E. Daniels 03, and Scott Reeves 59, who have all tuned in over on Instagram. Shout out to y'all for tuning into today's show. Please like. I don't know if you can necessarily share on Instagram, but please like on Instagram if you can. I would greatly appreciate that. Trying to get out into the algorithm and doing all that good stuff that you got to try to do in the social media sphere of places that we're trying to get the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton on. Our guy Tommy Cananza saying good morning over on the YouTube chat. Good morning to you, Tommy. Hope that you are having yourself a fantastic day. Yesterday was Game 5 of the NBA Finals, and that's where we're going to start today, is with Game 5 of the NBA Finals. The Oklahoma State Thunder go out, they get themselves an 11-point win, 120-109. I was wrong yesterday because I said that there was going to be no way. I thought it was going to be a closer game. I thought the 9.5-point spread would be covered by Indiana, so I was wrong on that one. Did have OKC winning this game, so OKC goes out, they get the win. I feel like we're going to get Game 7. It all depends on Indiana and how Indiana plays in Game 5. I want to say that's going to be on Thursday. I really don't like this, multiple days in between that we're doing right now at the NBA Finals. I really don't like it. I wish it was just one day for travel. OKC and Indiana can't be that too far from each other. Can't be that far. Let's see. It's a 10-hour drive. A 10-hour drive to get to from Indianapolis to Oklahoma City. That's about as far as it takes to get from El Paso to Dallas. Trying to find out what the flight is. We'll figure that one out in a little bit. Let's see. Drive, buses. They only have drive and buses. I'm sure there are flights that you can take to Indianapolis. It shouldn't be 3 days in between games, but getting from OKC to Indianapolis. But nonetheless, I'm watching yesterday's game. And again, it's another one of those games that you think Indiana's going to have a comeback because they did. They came back in game one. It felt like there was going to be some sort of comeback in this game. And there for a minute, early in the fourth quarter, Indiana looks like they're about to complete the comeback. They were down by 18 points at one point in the game, as much as 16 points in the second half of the game. And Indiana cuts the lead down to 2. Pascal Siakam drains a 3. Indiana cuts the lead down into 2. And it felt like Oklahoma City at that point in the game turned it on. Defensively, offensively, they after getting it within 2 points, never looked back. Never looked back. The 11-point spread right here is closer than what it was at some points there. And Augustine's right. And then the wheels fell off. Oklahoma City forced, whenever it was 93-95, 6 turnovers, and then made 5 3-pointers in that time frame. Forced 6 turnovers and made 5 3-pointers in that time frame. The fact that the game was only 11 points really says a lot about how the Pacers were trying at the end. They were really trying at the end. But they had just dumb turnovers. Time and time again, it just felt like a bad, terrible turnovers at horrible times, not even being able to get the shot that you really wanted, working the shot clock the way that they were working the shot clock, doing all the stuff that the Pacers normally do. It felt like, as Augustine says, whenever the wheels fell off, it felt like it could have been a lot worse. It only being an 11-point loss felt like it could have been a lot worse. It probably should have been a lot worse. Augustine saying it was about the moment in yesterday's game, and the moment caught up to Indiana. Pressure is a privilege. I agree with that 100%. Pressure is a privilege, and you can see this is what happens, right? Because I think the narrative leading into Game 5 was the pressure that was on Oklahoma City. The way that we've seen Oklahoma City succumb to the pressure as well, right? Like both these teams are doing a great job putting pressure on one another. I think OKC now, or not OKC, I think Indiana now has this monicum of pressure on them because we expect now the comeback. We expect, as I see my guy Adrian Zamudio tuned in over on Instagram, we expect to see some sort of magic out of the Indiana Pacers. That's our expectation for this team now. The pressure is there. You have to perform. You will perform. For us, dance, clown, dance. Augustine saying it's the Minnesota Viking dilemma. You're going to have to explain that one to me. You're going to have to explain that one to me. The Indiana Pacers had all of the weight of expectations of us as fans being like, this team's going to have a comeback. This team is going to find some way to do it. Bistro saying, good morning, T to the I to the P. TIP coming live from the VIP. Morning, Strilla. What were your thoughts? Everyone, if you were out there watching this game, Game 5 of the NBA Finals, what were your thoughts on Game 5 of the NBA Finals? Adrian Zamudio, your thoughts on the NBA Finals. Augustine Pimentel saying the Minnesota Vikings dilemma. You expect stuff and never get it. I would call that the Dallas Cowboys dilemma if we're going that far with it. It's the Dallas Cowboys where you have expectations and never get it. I'm looking at the landscape, right? Everything there with Oklahoma City, with the Indiana Pacers. And Indiana getting this game within 2 points to just choke it away. And again, it's not taking anything away from Oklahoma City's defense. Oklahoma City did what they needed to do. They caused 6 turnovers in that short time frame to end the game. They made their buckets. Jalen Williams was out of his mind yesterday. He and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander combined for 71 points. It's OKC got the game that OKC needed. But think about this if you're the Indiana Pacers. Halliburton was clearly hurt, clearly hobbled somehow, some way. You didn't get the best performance out of your team, and yet somehow you were still in this game late. Like, that's got to be one thing that gets hope, that generates hope for the Indiana Pacers. You were right there. You were right there. You had arguably the worst start you could have possibly thought of, being down 18 at one point in this game, 16 at one point in the third quarter. You cut it within 2. This team knows how to come back, and you fall just a little short. With Halliburton playing as bad as he did, with Pascal Siakam not playing as well, with TJ McConnell not playing as well, like this team, Miles Turner didn't really play all that well. I'm going to go to the box score real quick. Tyrese Halliburton got you 4 points. I said Pascal Siakam didn't play that well. He had 28 points, but his plus-minus was -5. Aaron Nesmith, a -12 in his plus-minus. The Indiana Pacers just didn't do all that well. Benedict Mathurin, a guy that showed up in the big moments in, what was it, game 2 or game 3, absolutely nowhere to be found in game 5. Augustine Pimentel saying, no, the Cowboys are expected to fail. They do what we expect them to do. LOL. I mean, when is there expectations for the Vikings to be successful, though? Like when has that ever been a thing? The Vikings are expected to be successful when? I don't know about that one. I think that might be the Cowboys' hate clouding your vision. Shout out to Football Talk with Bo, our dude Bo Crouch, tuning in over on Instagram. Remember, here on National Stream of Sports, Monday through Friday, noon Eastern, 10 o'clock here in El Paso, 9 o'clock on the West Coast. You can catch Coast to Coast with Bo Crouch hanging out with us. Richie saying, try being a Steelers fan, 9-8 or 10-7 till Tomlin retires. And who even knows? It might be worse after Tomlin retires. I feel like Tomlin's getting the most out of that team. Oh, Richie, where were you last week? We were talking about Aaron Rodgers. We had all the Aaron Rodgers stuff working with us. But Augustine, I really want to know, when have the Vikings ever had any type of pressure on them? When have the Vikings ever been expected to be good? Are we going to go as far back as Brett Favre? I don't. God, I can't remember the last time people were like, you know that team you really got to look out for? The Minnesota Vikings. We got to look out for those Minnesota Vikings. I can't remember that being a thing. You always had Green Bay. You always had, like now you got Detroit. Adrian Zamudio saying today is his birthday. Happy birthday to you, Adrian Zamudio. Hope that you have yourself a fantastic day. I got to get better at remembering people's birthdays. One of the things that I'm really bad, I'm the youngest of 11. I remember the majority of my nieces and nephews' birthdays. I've got like 65 nieces and nephews, and there was a ceiling where it was like, you know what? I'm just not going to remember all these birthdays. It's just not going to happen. Thank God for Facebook having the birthday, like the birthday reminders on Facebook. And yes, I did say that correctly. If you're just tuning in, learning a little bit about your boy, yes, I am the youngest of 11 with multiples of nieces and nephews. There's a reason why I only got 2 kids. There's a reason why I only got 2 kids. It's because I got way too many nieces and nephews. The Indiana Pacers, I don't think they're in trouble. Obviously, their back is up against the wall. I can see them winning a game in Indiana. Football Talk was saying that's what I keep Facebook for, simply for the birthdays. I'm the same way, dude. I am the exact same way. Couple clicks. It's your birthday, HBD. And now you don't even have to type anything out. You can just like hit the pre-made happy birthday button. Hit and post. Man, I'm getting good at that. Makes people feel special that you remembered their birthdays. Richie, what are your thoughts on Aaron Rodgers being your quarterback? I see that you're a Steelers fan. Now that I know you're a Steelers fan, I gotta figure out your thoughts on Aaron Rodgers being the quarterback of your Pittsburgh Steelers. Augustine Pimentel saying birthdays don't exist whenever you're over 30. Augustine has had 30 birthdays since his 30th birthday. I think birthdays still exist. I celebrate my birthday from time to time. Like, I don't do like parties or anything like that, but like, I love having a cake. I get to blow out the candles with my kids and stuff like that. Like, I'm cool with birthdays. My youngest is about to turn 8 on July 10th. Augustine says no, he's only had 14 birthdays since his 30th birthday. That is a lie. That is a bold-faced lie. You're at least 117 years old. At least 117 years old in leap years. That was mean. I apologize. Do I though? Should I though? I don't know. We'll see. Maybe 114 birthdays since then. Richie saying about the Pittsburgh Steelers, if we still had the atrocity of an offensive line that we had in 2021, I wouldn't even watch this season. But we've rebuilt it. What I'm concerned is if with Calvin Austin will step up as a legit wide receiver too for DK. The Steelers are such an anomaly to me. That they really are. I get that you probably weren't going to pay George Pickens. I get that. Again, I guess I don't get it. Like I'm really trying to understand the Pittsburgh Steelers mindset here, right? Because if all you're going to do is go all in for 1 year with Aaron Rodgers, why wouldn't you have kept George Pickens for the 1 year? Even if you knew you weren't going to, keep him, you could have kept him as like an extra weapon to have. The second you welcome in Aaron Rodgers, you're welcoming in all of the weird chaos that comes with Aaron Rodgers. Why not just embrace having George Pickens there as well? Bo Crouch telling us, I do a party on the decade, 30, 40, etc. I guess I'm weird with that because I feel like that's too generic as far as birthdays go, right? Like that's super generic. Like, I'm celebrating my 30th. Okay. I think for me, like, I had a big birthday party whenever I was like 37. I was either 37 or 38. It had to be 38 because we got like a party bus and we just went around going to all the different breweries in El Paso, seeing how much beer and liquor we can consume in that one night. And it's also, my birthday is February 17th, so every now and then it lands on Mardi Gras. And that's one of the best parts about your birthday being in February, right? Like the Mardi Gras birthday in February. I think it's on Mardi Gras this upcoming year too. If it is, got to have ourselves a Mardi Gras party here in El Paso. Tommy Canazza saying he doesn't do birthdays anymore either. LOL. Richie going on to say, regardless, he's a bridge quarterback till we either draft again or bank on Will Howard. The real sleeper in our offense to look out for is a rookie running back, Caleb Johnson, and how he works with Jaylen Warren. I think they're going to have a really good running back tandem back there. Pickens wanted out. He even let it out on socials. Tomlin always said, we want volunteers, not hostages. I agree with that. I agree that you want volunteers, not hostages. Doesn't it feel like you had to have a hostage negotiation with Aaron Rodgers? Like all the stuff surrounding Aaron Rodgers felt like it was just a huge hostage negotiation. Bo Crouch saying, I look at it like I survived another decade. I guess that's the way that I should start looking at it too, right? As I'm creeping. I'm only 41, but I'm already got my mindset like I'm creeping ever so closer. Each upcoming week, each upcoming day, each upcoming hour, I'm creeping ever closer to 50, a number I never thought that I would ever get to. It felt to me like George Pickens, like even if you knew you were going to get rid of, you could have like had him halfway through the season. Let's see like what this season would have been. Winning is the concealer of everything. It's a great makeup. The Pittsburgh Steelers at the beginning of the season. Let's look at the Steelers. Let's look at the Steelers' schedule. I've done a lot of research on the Steelers, apparently. Let's look at the beginning part of the Steelers' schedule right now, right? You have the Jets, you can call that a win. You have the Seahawks, that's going to be in Pittsburgh. You might want to call that a win. That'll be a close game, depending on what Sam Darnold's going to do. Football Talk with Bo saying that's why DK left Seattle. He just wanted out. You have the Patriots if you're the Steelers. You have the Vikings. You have the Browns. You have the Bengals. You have the Packers. So they don't have the easiest schedule at the beginning of the season, the Pittsburgh Steelers. But you could have seen a scenario there if they had kept George Pickens, if they had won a handful of those games, if they were competitive in some of those games. It all could have just been something to build on, right? Like you're getting 1 year of Aaron Rodgers. Why not deal with the drama of George Pickens and all the stuff there? DK Metcalf. I look at it like you could have had arguably the better offense or one of the best offenses in the AFC North with just that wide receiving core. Now you need guys to step up. Now you need Calvin Austin to step up. George Pickens could have been your solid number 2. Calvin Austin could have been your number 3. Well, like you would have had a good young running back core. Football Talk with Bo saying Steelers are plus 4,500 before Aaron Rodgers signed and stayed at plus 4,500 after Aaron Rodgers signed. It was the most. It reminds me of Dallas Cowboys trading for George Pickens, right? The over/under for the Dallas Cowboys on wins before George Pickens was 7.5 wins. After the Dallas Cowboys signed George Pickens, the over/under on wins was 7.5 wins. I think it could be the first time in football history that you have 2 signings, a trade and then a signing, that equals nothing. That does nothing. Where Vegas is like, that doesn't mean jack squat to any of us. Richie saying, being in this industry at 24 makes me want to buy myself diapers. Hey, at least you know where you wanted to be at 24. When I was 24, I was in the military. And the stuff that I'm doing now is such a 180 from what I did in the military. It's basically starting all over again. So at least you've got something working your way, Richie. You know what it is you want to do. Good for you. Now you might need to buy yourself some diapers. It'll be okay. But pretty soon you'll be in your pull-ups. Pretty soon you'll be in your pull-ups. The whole reason Pittsburgh got DK was because of Pickens' locker room troubles. The Steelers know when to get rid of a diva wide receiver. We always somehow pick up. You get rid of the diva wide receiver to sign the most diva quarterback of all time? That one, like, again, maybe it's me. Maybe it's me, and it's just what's going through my mind, right? If you're going to bring in Aaron Rodgers, it means you're welcoming all of the stuff that surrounds Aaron Rodgers. Imagine how much fun how much fun it would have been if you would have had the film crews in there with Aaron Rodgers, with George Pickens, with DK Metcalf. It would have been so much fun to watch. I'm sure as a fan, it would have been a nightmare. But for the rest of us that are not fans of the Pittsburgh Steelers, that would have been so much fun to watch. Shout out to our girl, Mama Bear, who tuned in right now. Mama Bear 200 tuning in over on Instagram. Football Talk with Bo saying, have a great rest of the show, brother. Have a great rest of the show for you as well. I will be checking your show out a little bit later. Remember, Football Talk with Bo. And then coast to coast, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern here in El Paso on National Streaming Sports. So shout out to that. Let's go check him out. You can also check him out on YouTube, Football Talk with Bo on YouTube. Or it might just be Football Talk. I got to get it right. One of these days, I'll be a professional. Not today, but one of these days, I'll be a professional. I'm just, man, I feel like the Steelers dropped the ball on what could have been just the most interesting. It might not have been the best, not for the franchise, but it would have been the most interesting viewing experience to have been able to witness the Pittsburgh Steelers with DK Metcalf, with George Pickens, with Aaron Rodgers, just all that stuff. I would have loved to have seen Hard Knocks for that team specifically. As a Cowboys fan, I'm happy. Don't get me wrong. We got ourselves a number 2 wide receiver. We're going to have what I think is a better offense this year. One of the better offenses in the NFC again this year with the Dallas Cowboys. I'm excited about having George Pickens in Dallas. I know eventually it's going to rear its ugly head. How are you going to keep this guy happy? But the fact of the matter remains that the Steelers are going to be in trouble no matter what, right? Like no matter what. So you might as well have embraced the suck. And I don't think they would have been that bad if they had kept George Pickens. It might have caused a lot of issues. It might have caused a lot of drama, but it also would have given them the better chance of winning. At least in my opinion, it would have given them a better chance of winning. Richie saying, let's be real, 90% of Aaron Rodgers' drama is media-oriented. LOL. He stated 2 controversial opinions publicly, politics and ayahuasca, and the media ran with it. I don't think that's necessarily the case. Yeah, you can talk about the ayahuasca, you can talk about the politics, all that stuff. I think that's secondary. I think that's tertiary. Was he not the reason Robert Saleh got fired last year? Was he not the reason the Jets were an absolute dumpster fire last year? He went on record talking. He forced himself out of Green Bay. Although we have had some recent revisionist history saying that Aaron Rodgers didn't force himself out of Green Bay. Sorry, y'all, working on something. I'm at home and my internet is so bad for some strange reason. I'm trying to see if it's a bad signal all the way around or what's going on. It's showing me I got zero internet. But Aaron Rodgers forcing his way out of Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers forcing his way, forcing the hands of the Jets last year. It's not all just media oriented. It's a lot of Aaron Rodgers' own doing as well. So, I mean, we can say ayahuasca and politics, but I don't think that necessarily matters. I think right now the juice isn't worth the squeeze. And I'm all about ayahuasca. I'm trying to do ayahuasca with somebody. Anybody out there? I know my dude, Danny Hoban. We found a place in Arizona where we can go do some ayahuasca. Just go ahead, get high as hell, have ourselves a great time, and show everybody just the tip.
I just want to put the tip in.
It's time for
Just the Tip.
That would make me uncomfortable.
Promise that it ain't too much, but just enough. Just a tip. Just a tip.
Just the tip. Just the tip.
It's time for Just the Tip.
Just the Tip is brought to you by our friends over at www.myhappynuts.com. Guys, take care of yourself from your pits to your tip with all of the whole body deodorant and line of stuff that they have over at www.myhappynuts.com. Once again, www.myhappynuts.com. Use promo code Mike Tipton at checkout and save on all of your male grooming needs. It's summertime. Don't be swampy. Don't be gross. Take care of yourself with www.myhappynuts.com. Richie saying, let me give you an example. This year, he didn't say a single word this entire offseason. He got married and had personal trouble with his family. He was the entire talk of the town. Richie saying, Mr. Tip, off to work. I'll tell Bernie you say hello. Let Bernie know that I say hello as well. And once again, anything that I can do to help out the Sun Bowl Association, y'all let me know. I will be there. Bells and whistles. I will be there with the Sun Bowl Association. It's not that Aaron Rodgers didn't say anything. It's that he took so long. He took so long to decide what it was that he was going to do. I love the back and forth, though. I really do. I appreciate the back and forth. But whenever you're the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers, even if he had said, like, even if all this stuff was done back in March, I just don't want to do OTAs. I don't want to do all of us would have been like, okay, cool. Sign with the team. Let the team know you're going to be their quarterback. So that way you don't have to worry about guys like Cam Hayward being like, are you going to be on the team or not? I think that's what it comes down to. Like, he just creates problems for himself, does Aaron Rodgers. I love this show sometimes. I can't even say sometimes. I love this show all the time because I start talking about Tyrese Halliburton and the Indiana Pacers and somehow spent the last 20 minutes, it feels, talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers with Aaron Rodgers, the Dallas Cowboys, George Pickens, DK Metcalf. What a fun tangent. It's a TIP VIP Tuesday. It's kind of what it feels like. Y'all driving the show. Let me know what it is that y'all want to talk about. I'm cool with it. I'm going to get back to the Pacers and the Thunder, though, because once again, I think we're going 7 games. I feel like we're going 7 games. The narrative following Game 4 was how much pressure was on OKC. OKC needs to win. All they did was do what they needed to do. They win at home. They get themselves a 3-2 series lead. The Pacers lose back-to-back games. We know Oklahoma City doesn't lose back-to-back games. And now it creates so much more drama. It really does. So much more drama. Where now you've got to worry about, if you're Indiana, you have to win the next 2 games. You have to win the next 2 games. You have to force this team that lost back-to-back games twice, once in November, once in April. You have to force this team now to lose back-to-back games. If you're Oklahoma City, you like where you are. You don't lose back-to-back games. And again, if you're Indiana, you didn't play your best, and somehow, some way, you were still in this series. You were still in this game. Yes, you lost by 11 points, but you had the lead down to 2. And then just started playing out of your game. If Indiana plays their game, and again, it all comes down to Tyrese Halliburton. How's his calf feeling? Apparently, he's got a calf injury right now. I love what he said yesterday. It's the NBA Finals. If I can walk, I'm going to be out there. That should be the mindset. I couldn't imagine being hurt in the NBA Finals and then saying to myself, I can't play. Like, if I'm able to move, I'm going out there and I'm giving it a try. It's going to be real interesting to watch these next couple of games with the Indiana Pacers and with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Tommy, I said it facetiously yesterday that I hope that you weren't watching basketball. I hope that you are. I really hope that you got to watch some of these games in the NBA Finals. I know the Dallas Mavericks did you wrong. They hurt you. Show me on the doll where they hurt you. Probably shouldn't have said that. Sorry, Roku. But this is great basketball that we are witness to right now. Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals later on today as well. The Florida Panthers with a 3-1 series lead over the Edmonton Oilers. This is another series that I think is going to go 7 games. I cannot see a scenario where it doesn't go 7 games. It feels like to me that this was a collision course of just great hockey, right? I feel like we're being spoiled as sports fans because we normally don't get this. We normally don't get a potential 7-game Stanley Cup followed by a 7-game series in the NBA Finals, right? Like, we normally don't get that. We normally don't get spoiled this way. And I feel like it's happening to us right now. And we're watching the two best, right? The two best storylines. You have a rematch in the Stanley Cup Final with the defending champion, Florida Panthers, taking on a team that they had to take 7 games to beat last year, and the Edmonton Oilers. Last year's series, Florida goes up 3-0. Edmonton comes back, wins 3 games in a row, loses in Game 7. You talk about drama, high drama. Tommy Canazza saying, I can't do it, Tip. I'll be all in again when we draft Cooper Flagg, the Dallas Mavericks draft Cooper Flagg. And if they don't, I'm done with the Mavs and the NBA. Wow. Your entire sports fandom riding on the fact that Nico Harrison has to draft Cooper Flagg. I like this. This is high stakes right now. I cannot wait now for the NBA draft. Man, that's going to be fun. Now I've got another storyline to keep watching. Augustine's saying, now I don't want them to draft Cooper Flagg. I know, watch the Mavericks not draft him. Watch the Mavericks. I can only imagine. I mean, what if they trade the number 1 overall pick to get like Giannis or something like that? Would that be enough to suffice, or does it have to be Cooper Flagg and nothing at all? I think we got to figure out like some more lines here, because if they trade the number 1 overall pick and they get Giannis Antetokounmpo, I think I'd be happy with that. And here in the NBA Finals, I love the tangents that have been going on today. This has been a very ADHD show. I apologize, everybody. Flag or nothing. That is what Tommy Canazza is saying right now. Cooper Flagg or nothing. So not even if they get Giannis, just Cooper Flagg or nothing at all. Reminds me of that song. I'm trying to remember what that song was called or who sang that song. I want it all or nothing at all. Whatever that song was. I can't remember what it was called. I know it's like a early 2000s song. I might be the only one that remembers that song. All or nothing. Tommy Canazza's fanhood. His fandom. Resting on Nico Harrison. Augustine saying, bye-bye basketball for Tommy. I guess he's going to like soccer. I'm trying. Augustine, I've been watching. I watched some of the CONCACAF Gold Cup. I've been watching some of this Club World Cup. It's been fun. I was watching Panama and Guadalupe yesterday. Tommy Canazza, letting his feelings towards soccer be known. 90% of the time I'm with you, Tommy. 90% of the time. I don't think I would much rather watch soccer. I would much rather watch soccer. I mean, we can set it up, Tommy. We'll set up a live stream. We can go to a farm somewhere. We'll have soccer, and we'll just have a plate full of crap. And we'll see which one gets handled first. The reason why I'm laughing so hard, guys, is because I can't remember what it was. I think it was, oh yeah. So I was at ESPN at the time, and there was a analyst in Cleveland who said that if the Cleveland Cavaliers lost to the Golden State Warriors, he would eat a horse apple, which is basically horse shit. He would eat horse shit. And I remember thinking to myself, that's such a bold take to put on the shoulders of LeBron James. And ultimately, he wound up having, like, he lost the bet. I don't even know if he ever ate the horse shit or not. But I feel like if you make a bet like that, like even a couple of weeks ago or months ago, Mad Dog Russo being like, if the Eagles win, I'll retire. Whatever, all that nonsense. The Eagles win, he doesn't retire. If you make a bet like that, you got to follow through, right? And I'd love, like Tommy, obviously I don't want you to go around eating shit. I'd rather you watch soccer. But if those are the stakes, I'm in on it. Let's find a way to make this happen. I'm sure we can make it happen. Again, we're being spoiled right now in the world of sports with what we're getting. Right, I don't want to say so much baseball. We'll talk about Ohtani coming up here in just a little bit. But in the NBA Finals, we're getting a great NBA Final. In the Stanley Cup Final, we're getting a great Stanley Cup Final. More than likely going to go 7 games in the Stanley Cup Final. More than likely going to go 7 games in the NBA Final. I can't say I don't see a scenario because I can see a scenario where OKC wins the championship in Game 6, but I firmly believe we're going to get 7 games out of this. I'm a firm believer in that we're going to get 7 games out of this. We'll more than likely get 7 games out of the Stanley Cup Final as well. Edmonton going to go back home. And that's what you want. You want to see that parity because that's what builds storylines, right? I think that's what the NBA has been missing over the last decade or so. It was a cool storyline having Steph and Kevin Durant with the Warriors taking on LeBron James a decade ago. A little less than a decade ago. That was a fun storyline. The best player in the world taking on the best team in the world. You bring them together and they just go at each other. And then we lost it. It was all lost. It was, short series, random champions, the COVID year with the Lakers, like all of it was just somehow, some way tossed to the wayside in the NBA. No one was caring about the NBA anymore. And then you started getting it back. You started getting people to care a little bit with this NBA playoff, right? Whether it was the Knicks, whether it was all the stuff surrounding Golden State, would they be able to pull it off? Getting new fan bases, right? People talking all that talk about, oh, no one's going to watch this NBA Finals. I would love to see what the ratings have been. I know it's not going to be a great ratings for the NBA Finals, but it's been great basketball. People talk all the time about you got to make us care. And the NBA had a bunch of time to make us care about this NBA Finals. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it comes down to you as a fan, whether you're going to watch or not. And if you haven't been watching, you're missing out. It's been great basketball. It's been fun, frustrating even. I'm watching yesterday's game getting mad because I'm watching Indiana come back from being down by 18. They get within 2 points. They're right there. They're right on the cusp. And then the bad basketball starts being played. But it's not because they were making mistake after mistake. It was because Oklahoma City made them look that bad. Oklahoma City, who had the best defense in the NBA this year, made a team that came back look that bad. Like they just didn't have enough. It's been fun. The Stanley Cup Final, I can't wait for tonight's hockey game. Tommy, are you watching hockey? Or what are you watching? I know you're not a big baseball guy. Are you just not watching sports at all? Going back and watching old replays of the Dallas Cowboys on the NFL Network? Is that what we're doing? And I'm asking genuinely. I'm genuinely interested in this because I know once basketball and hockey are over, we've got a couple of days left. Once basketball and hockey are over, it's soccer and baseball. And I know Tommy isn't a fan of either one. Maybe he's watching like college baseball. The College Baseball World Series has been a ton of fun. Arkansas getting a no-hitter yesterday. A ton of fun in the College Baseball World Series. But I feel like if you don't watch professional baseball, you probably don't watch college baseball, right? We're going to have to figure this one out. Augustine Pimentel saying that Tommy is watching novelas. Tommy Cananza saying, I have enough Cowboys content to keep me entertained until training camp. There we go. Training camp. Right around the corner. When is training camp? Ooh. Late July through August. So we've got about a month or so. 5 weeks until we get to training camp. Oh, man, I didn't get to talk about the NFC West today. So we'll talk. I got 14 minutes. I think we can push it through. I think we can get the NFC West under control right now. The AFC West. Bringing up my stuff here. We got caught up in Pittsburgh Steeler land. Augustine saying, you mean the butt fumble, the running out of time, or that great catch, LMAO? Talking crap about the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys didn't have a butt fumble. That was the Jets. If you're going to insult the team, get the playwright guy. All right. So the best team that we know so far in the AFC West is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs, right? They are the defending AFC representative in the Super Bowl. And the Kansas City Chiefs have had themselves an interesting offseason, to say the least. They let their best offensive lineman, walk away. They trade him to Chicago. And the issue that the Chiefs had all last season was their offensive line. And whenever you look at the Chiefs and the players they lost, they lose a defensive tackle, Tershawn Wharton. They lose Justin Reed, their safety. They lose DeAndre Hopkins, not a big deal. They lose Justin Watson, not a big deal. Joshua Uch, that's not a big deal. Samaje Perine, not a big deal. Mecole Hardman, not a big deal. Derek Nadel, not a big deal. Spencer Schrader, not a big deal. Keith Taylor, not a big deal. DJ Humphries, not a big deal. So they don't lose much in free agency. It's that trade on the offensive line that really hurts the Kansas City Chiefs. And this is what they do in free agency. They go out, they sign Jalen Moore to help out the offensive line. They get him from San Francisco. They go out and they get Christian Fulton, a cornerback from their division. So now that's helping them out. They're helping out the defense a little bit. They keep Charles Omenihu. They go out, they sign Elijah Mitchell to help out the running back core. Losing Samaje Perine, you got to bring somebody in. So they bring in Elijah Mitchell. Jerry Tillery, along the defensive line. James Winchester, a long snapper. Kareem Hunt, they re-sign him. They re-sign Juju Smith-Schuster. They re-sign Mike Pennell on the defensive line. They re-sign a couple of other guys out here. They get Mike Edwards. They get Robert Rochelle. They get Gardner Minshew as a backup and Bailey Zappi as a backup. Nothing to really write home about for the Kansas City Chiefs. Then you look at their draft, and this is where I think that they started doing well for themselves. Once again, they know the issue they have is offensive line, especially after trading away your best offensive lineman. They go out, they sign Jalen Moore from the San Francisco 49ers. In the first round, they draft Josh Simmons out of Ohio State, a guy who I think has a lot of tremendous upside along the offensive line. So now we're looking at what they're doing. Offensive line help. That's what they want for the Kansas City Chiefs. Offensive line help. We have Patrick Mahomes. We got to keep this guy upright in order to help us out this season. In the second round, they go out and they get Omar Norman Lott, a defensive tackle out of Tennessee. Ashton Gillette out of Louisville. They go ahead and get a defensive end. So the first 3 rounds, offensive line and defensive line. Noah Williams out of Cal, the cornerback out of Cal. Jalen Royals, a wide receiver. Jeffrey Bassa, a linebacker. And then Brashard Smith, a running back out of SMU. The first few rounds of the NFL draft and in free agency, the Kansas City Chiefs go out and they target what they need, which is offensive line and defensive line help. But I still feel like they have nothing in the wide receiver core. Now, of course, you're going to get Rashee Rice back. He's going to be healthy. I feel like losing DeAndre Hopkins might have been a bigger miss than most people think. But you have Juju Smith-Schuster, who's been there, who's been kind of a security blanket for Patrick Mahomes. You still have Travis Kelce. What version of Travis Kelce are we going to get? A ton of people are like, Travis Kelce has fallen off over the last couple of years. The relationship with Taylor Swift is the reason why Travis Kelce has been falling off. Is it enough, though, for you to sit back and look at the rest of the division and the AFC West and think that the Kansas City Chiefs are still the cream of the crop of the AFC West? I think I'll go more in depth tomorrow because I was supposed to do it today. I think all we'll be able to do is just go over the Kansas City Chiefs today. So let's look at the Kansas City Chiefs schedule. You start the season off in Los Angeles. I was about to say in San Diego against the Chargers. It's going to take me a while to stop calling them the San Diego Chargers. You start the season off in LA against the Chargers. We're going to call that a win for the Kansas City Chiefs. Then you take on the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll call that a loss for the Kansas City Chiefs. I know that's at home for Kansas City, but that's still the Eagles. We'll call that a loss. Then you take on the Giants. We'll call that a win. You take on the Ravens in Kansas City. We'll call that a loss. So far I have the Chiefs 2-0 on the road and 0-2 at home. 2-2 on the season so far. You go on the road, you take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's a win. You go back home, you take on Beastrilla and the Detroit Lions. Man, do I really have them going 0-3 at home? There's no way. There's no way. They're going to have to win one of those games. Whether it's the Eagles, Ravens, or Lions, they're going to have to win one of those games. So they're going to be 4-2 on the season through 6 weeks. Then they get the Raiders at home, so we'll call them 5-2 on the season. The Commanders at home. Jesus Christ, they have a hard home schedule this year. 4 of their first 5 home games are against the Eagles, the Ravens, the Lions, and the Commanders. That is wild. We'll have the Chiefs win that game at home, so we'll make them 6-2 on the season. They go to Buffalo. They lose to the Bills 6-3. They go on the road to the Broncos. We'll have them split with the Broncos, so we'll have them 6-4 on the season right there against the Colts. The Colts are going to be in a lot of trouble. We'll have Kansas City win that one. They're 7-4 on the season. They take on our Dallas Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Nothing to be thankful about in that game for the Dallas Cowboys. We'll call that a loss for our Dallas Cowboys. They're 8-4 on the season. They take on the Texans. I think the Texans are going to take a huge step back this year. So we'll have the Chiefs beating the Texans on there, 9-4. The Chargers, we'll have them split with the Chargers as well. 9-5 on the season. Taking on the Titans, they beat the Titans. They beat the Broncos. They beat the Raiders to end the season. So we can see a scenario here where the Kansas City Chiefs are 11-6, 12-5, somewhere around there. 11-6, 12-5. Worst case scenario for this team, they're 10-7. Best case scenario for this team, they're 12-5. I can't see them going 13-4. I don't see a scenario where they beat the Eagles, the Ravens, the Lions, and the Commanders, all 4 of those teams at home. I just don't see that happening. That is a tough start to the season for the Kansas City Chiefs. You have 3 cupcake games, I would say, which are the Giants, the Jags, and the Raiders. The Raiders, a division game. Anything can happen in there. But you have the Chargers, the Eagles, the Ravens, the Lions, the Commanders, the Bills, and the Broncos. All 7 of those teams in your first 10 games. That's going to be a hell of a schedule, a hell of a gauntlet for the Kansas City Chiefs to make it through in the first 10 games of the season. There's a real scenario here where you can see the Kansas City Chiefs being 0-4 at home because they can lose to the Eagles, they can lose to the Ravens, they can lose to the Lions, they can lose to the Commanders, they can lose to the Chiefs or to the Bills rather. At the beginning of the season, there's a real chance. I don't want to say like no chance in hell, but there's a real chance that the Kansas City Chiefs can be like 5-4 or 5-5 or 4-6 in the first 10 games of the season. Because that's such a tough schedule. The Chargers, the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Eagles, the Ravens, the Lions, the Commanders, the Bills, and the Broncos. I'm high on the Broncos and the Chargers this year. You already know that. So you can see a real scenario here where the Kansas City Chiefs are anywhere from a 10-7 team, which is weird to say that about a team that's been in 3 straight Super Bowls, but they can be anywhere from a 10-7 team to a 12-5 team. I can't see them going 13-4. I can't see them doing that. And if they're 12-5, that means that division is up for grabs because Denver, I think, is going to have a good season, and the Chargers, I think, are going to have a good season. The Raiders are still going to be the Raiders. They're still going to be the absolute worst of that division. But anything can happen in division games. And there could be a possibility they go 3-3 in the division instead of 4-2 the way that I have them going. Man, it's going to be real interesting to watch the Kansas City Chiefs this season. It's going to be real interesting to watch it. So tomorrow, we'll continue with the rest of the AFC West. We will revisit what we were talking about with the Kansas City Chiefs today, but we will revisit the rest of the AFC West tomorrow. I was supposed to do that today, but we started talking about Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I got heated up talking about George Pickens being a Dallas Cowboy. I apologize, everybody. You drive the show for me. I spent too much time talking about the NBA Finals. I'm sorry. Once again, everybody, I want to thank you so much for tuning into today's show. It's been an absolute pleasure. I hope that all of you have yourself a great Tuesday, and we will see you tomorrow.